want to come back here, just service the scene.
Right, come on, let's move everyone into College Way. Come on, up the way. Now feel free to fill in fair pay for all those other demands you've got as what you need in your workplaces, in your unions. What do we want? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? When do we want it? Now! Did I really hear a call for toilets? Oh my goodness.
It's gotten that bad, eh?
I completely agree. Toilets for all. It's definitely a campaign. Okay, well, I think we will start. And can I just say, wow, what an absolutely phenomenal day. We've had over 70 picket lines in Bristol. I think over 3,000 of us on the streets right now for this march. And over 500,000 workers on strike today across Britain. What a phenomenal showing of workers' power and us saying enough is enough. Thank you. I'm Sheila Caffrey, and I am the President of Bristol Trades Union Council, the organisation that brings trades unions together and links them to the communities in which we live and work. An organisation that's made up of thousands of workers across Bristol from 40 trade union branches, which shares solidarity and support between our campaigns and attempts to join all aspects of workers' struggle in Bristol, whether it be on the picket lines like this morning or in a demonstration like now. Now the Trades Council, along with the train drivers in ASLEF and RMT, civil servants in PCS, education workers in the UCU, and education workers in the NEU, organised today's march and rally to bring us all together, marking the solidarity between us, between workers, workplaces and between trade unions, in fights that we are being forced to have on pay, on conditions, on health and safety, on funding into public services and against the constant barrage of cuts this government likes to savage us with. Without unions pushing back, we would not have sick pay, parental leave, holiday leave, pension benefits, and all the other things. And all the other things, which mean we don't just live to work, but we can work and live. Now, I am also a teacher and a very proud member of the National Executive of the National Education Union. I was elected into that national position 2 years ago on a campaigning platform calling for an active fighting union. And those votes endorsed what union members want, not just fine words and the occasional pat on the head from our schools and governments, but feet on the streets saying what we need, and we need it now. And we all know that actions speak louder than words, and that is why I am so pleased the NEU is here in such numbers today, standing up for our children, our students, standing up for our children, our students, our education workers and our education system. Following a decade pay the below inflation pay awards, which we all know is fancy government speak for pay cuts, we have got members doing term time only jobs on minimum wages, which results in our members like cleaners, lunchtime supervisors and other support staff being some of the lowest paid in our communities. What a smack in the face after the last few years where it was continually proved who the key workers in society are. They're certainly not the ones in Westminster, but the ones, and I'm just going to embarrass them, like the ones I work with in Hartcliffe, where if we're not there dishing up dinners, those children wouldn't have a hot meal that day. Like those workers that cleaned workplaces through the pandemic, attempting to provide the safest workplaces they could for children to go into school so other key workers could go to work and keep our society running. Yet we are the ones now paying the price. So as union members, we need to work together across workplaces and unions to build that fight back. Now I'm aware picket lines started very early for many, so we won't be having a long rally, but I'll hope you'll all be able to stay for the speakers we have got. All local campaigners who have been instrumental in pulling together today and campaigning tirelessly for their members, living the expression, if you fight, you can win, but if you don't fight, you will never win. So we're going to hear about the issues faced and how we can win for all workers across Bristol. We're going to hear from Michaela, Support Staff Officer for Bristol National Education Union and Branch Secretary for CLF Schools. We're going to hear from Seb from ASLEF, a train driver rep and the Bristol Branch Secretary who has been stood tirelessly on picket lines outside Temple Meads with a very good barbecue running, I have to say. Hannah will be speaking on behalf of the PCS and National Vice President, Chair of PCS South West Regional Committee and also Chair of the South West TUC. And finally, Jamie, the Branch Secretary of UCU at the university, who have been fighting their fight for several years now and continue to do that. So, let's hear for our first speaker, full of fighting energy, Michaela from the NEU.
Thank you, comrades. Today's been incredible, and I know, there we go. I know on our picket this morning we had 25 members of staff. We had about 13 support staff supporting our teachers on our picket today. 140,000 thereabouts education workers voted to strike. Of that number, 20,000 were support staff workers. Teachers voted because they've had enough of intolerable workload, oppressive scrutiny, real terms pay cut of 20% since 2010, being used to cover outside of their specialism, and particularly because of the retention crisis that we're seeing across our schools. Support staff members voted to strike because they are some of the lowest paid workers in the UK, because they are on the front line of physical assaults in schools, because of consistent expectations for unpaid overtime. 140,000 education workers voted to strike because our schools need to be fully funded. 20,000 support staff workers are continuing that fight right now because without them, we will not reach fully funded. In Bristol, 72% of support staff members, and we have 1,110 right now, voted engaged with the ballot. 74% of teachers engaged with the ballot. But comrades, this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is our first day of our strike. And if we are going to get any traction with this government, what we need to do is bring everyone on board. If you are in the building, you are today, tomorrow going to work. Find that person who is support staff, who you think would make a good rep, and get them to stand with you, not as a support staff rep, as a joint workplace rep. When we strike together, we win together. Thank you.
When they say cut back, we say fight back. When they say cut back, we say fight back. Cut back, fight back. Cut back, fight back. Cut back. Fight back. And Michaela is totally right. Together, we can win what we need. So we need to stand strong and we need to stand loud and proud. So our next speaker is going to be Seb from the train drivers in Aslef, who, as I've said, have been having many picket lines over the last year, but they are determined to continue to fight because they know their fight is for justice, is for the right, is for public transport. Seb.
Thank you. Yeah, well done, everyone. I think we made the traffic news. Yeah, we've been in disputes for the last 8 months and taking strike action on various days for the last 6 months. And I can't tell you how much joy and optimism it fills me with to see so many people here standing up for their rights and standing up for their living standards. So well done, everyone. I want to say a huge congratulations from Aslef to the NEU. 43,000 new members since you announced your ballot results. Good things happen when you make a stand. I'd also like to express solidarity to the UCU. 18 days of strike action over the next couple of months. Well, if you Vice-Chancellors aren't sitting up and listening to that, you better check their pulse. I'm going to talk a little bit about the rail dispute because I think what's been going on is very instructive. In case you didn't know, for every single day of strike action, the government has been indemnifying the train operating companies. They haven't lost a penny in revenue. And it's cost the taxpayer somewhere between, it's between 500 million and £1 billion. That's why your schools can't have any Pritt sticks.
Disgusting!
If they solve this dispute, if they'd spent that money trying to solve this dispute, we could have all had a 15% pay rise and gone back to work as normal. And what that tells us is we have to be prepared to fight, because that's what they're doing to us as Aslef, the Train Drivers Union and the RMT, and they're also going to do it to you. So as Michaela quite rightly said, this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, and things are going to get a hell of a lot worse before they get better. The one thing that's important is that we all stand together. It's great being in a union, but as unions, we also have to stand together. And the money is there, as I said. This is how much the government have spent. It's worth pointing out that TransPennine Express is one of the worst performing train operating companies in this country. It's less reliable than the Ukrainian State Railway, and they've got a war on. But they made more money, more profit from government subsidy than they did in ticket sales in the year leading up to the start of COVID. Shame! Yeah, shame. So don't let anyone tell you that the money's not there. Ignore all this crap about a wage price spiral, in terms of inflation, because none of us have had a pay rise for several years, and inflation's gone up anyway. And it's because of all the price gouging that's been going on. The energy companies, the water companies that are putting sewage into our rivers and the sea. And it's the Tories feathering their own nest. Oh, I said the T word, I'm sorry. Yeah, I tried not to mention them, but, nerves got the better of me. It's my first time speaking to such a big crowd. So, yeah, just remember. They can take us on individually, but they can't take us all on at the same time. So just remember, we stand together, we will win. Thank you very much.
The way the mic has to go up and down depending who's speaking. It's obviously gone down now. So, building on Seb's points, why we hearing workers are suffering so much? Do we have the money? Are we just being greedy? Well, let's think. Why in a country where BP got a profit of 9.3 billion last year have we got people falling ill from malnutrition and lack of heating? Why can Shell report the year before a quadrupling of profits whilst we have people dying on the streets unable to afford a home? Why do we have the big four supermarkets reporting record profits up over 700 million while workers are having to choose between heating and eating? Profits for them are through the roof with massive dividends to shareholders. Our government, local councils and our unions need to act. We need to demand a programme for change that will let us, ordinary people, thrive and not just barely survive. And one of the ways we make sure in this country that that should happen is through jobs like the civil service. So our next speaker, Hannah, will share how the PCS are fighting for the rights and conditions for those workers in the civil service. Hannah.
Thank you, Sheila, and thank you, everybody. I've written a proper speech because otherwise I know I'm going to get overexcited, so forgive me if I pause between sheets. But essentially, I'm so pleased to be here with you, and I'm proud to be out with my union, PCS.
Get a bit closer.
Can't hear me. Can hear me now at the back? Perfect. Obviously, I was over-optimistic at how high I needed to point that thing. Okay, so today, over 100,000 PCS members across the civil service and related organisations have joined hundreds of thousands of other trade union members on strike in the biggest walkout in over a decade. Thanks to our historic ballot result, thousands of PCS members have already taken action. PCS members in hundreds of workplaces have already come out, but today signals a significant escalation as part of our sustained, targeted strikes over pay, pensions, redundancy terms, and job security. We will continue to take hard-hitting, targeted action, and we plan to cause further significant disruption in all our workplaces until we win. During the pandemic, our members went above and beyond the call of duty to keep the country running. At a time of national crisis, they put their own safety at risk to provide the essential services the public relied on. The reward for this hard work and dedication has been a relentless assault on living standards. People don't always understand what the civil service does, see how critical our work is to society, see how horrendously low paid some of our members are. Our strike actions are making that clear. Around 40,000 members are using food banks, 47,000 claiming universal credit. That's because pay is so low in their workplaces. In the DWP alone, 25,000 PCS members are below the national minimum wage. Our dedication and the crucial work we do, we've been offered a 2% Treasury pay remit after years of cuts and freezes. This is the lowest offer across the public sector, and we will not accept it. Not only this, our members have been forced to overpay their pension contributions by £500 a year since 2019. This is something we're currently fighting in the courts, and we will continue to fight along with some of our sister unions. Change page, all going okay? Thousands of jobs are being cut or are under threat. At the same time, they're trying to slash our redundancy terms. So our demands are simple: a 10% pay rise, a living wage of at least £15 an hour, along with TUC claim for that. No further cuts to redundancy payments, an immediate 2% cut in pension payments, job security, and the resources desperately needed to deliver the public services. We're clear that if the government continues to ignore these demands, we will escalate action further. We can and we must win. In PCS and across the movement, we are winning in workplaces and people are already benefiting from union successes. Strong striking unions are seeing people flooding to support them. PCS membership is growing, now at its highest since the government tried to bankrupt our union by removing Chekhov in 2014. We're under attack, but we're growing as a movement and we must not be divided. A win for one is a win for all, and as we can see today, unions together are stronger. If we're out defending our members, we're defending their families and our communities. And I'm proud of PCS for defending our members, our workplaces, but also for our leading work on climate and our joint fight against the government's despicable Rwanda policy. Unions are a common good, and we love seeing them out in force. So please know that PCS will be there with you as you stand up for your members. We need wins for the NHS, education, local government, emergency services, transport and PCS members. And we should take a huge amount of encouragement and inspiration from the action here today. Last page, nearly done. As we stand here, supporting the TUC's Protect the Right to Strike rallies happening across the nation, the government is rushing through Parliament anti-union legislation that represents one of the most brazen attacks on the unions we've ever seen. Instead of lecturing workers, ministers should call in employers to put pay first and show some restraint on profits, dividends and boardroom bonuses. The government is treating its own workers appallingly, and they should be better employers themselves. The government wants to ensure minimum service levels, and we say they've already brought our services to their knees. So, as we stand together here demanding justice on pay, pensions, redundancy and job security, PCS wants to thank every worker from every union who has taken action so far and has pledged to keep up the pressure on the government and the bosses. I'd like to congratulate the RMT on their historic ballot win and to wish the BMA, FDA and other unions across the movement, including additional PCS areas, the best of luck with their ballots and reballots. Millions of people are realising that we deserve better. Working people are pushing back. We are causing disruption and we have the support of the public because we are the public. We've got a lot of members who are out on strike for the first time today. Members who are doing amazing work, and I hope they've had a great time on pickets full of hope and joy. Every picket that I've been on today has been absolutely amazing and it's filled me with joy to see everyone. It's been ridiculous. Striking is the last resort, but the situation is critical, and our strikes are a symptom of this. We're not going away, we're building. Let's use our collective voice to send the message that we will not be cold, we will not be hungry, we will not be scared, we will not be quiet or obedient. So thank you from me as a culture group worker, Chair of the Southwest TUC and Vice President of PCS. Solidarity forever.
So let's see if we know this one. The workers united will never be defeated. The workers united will never be defeated. The workers united will never be defeated. Okay, we're up to our last speaker. Well done for everyone who's making it through this far. I know people are tired, but we have got one more union to go. UCU, Jamie.
Thank you, Sheila. I'll be brief. On behalf of Bristol UCU, I'd like to say solidarity. Solidarity with striking staff from across Bristol, with teachers, with railway staff, civil servants, university workers and students. Your dispute is our dispute. We are one. We are we. We are united here in striking for fair pay, for job security, for proper pensions. We are united in getting a pay deal for our members. That is, paying our pockets rather than paying profits, surpluses or tax cuts for those that are profiting, not suffering from this cost of living crisis. We are united in taking action for the good of all. Our aims are the aims of all Bristolians too. Decent pay, job security and a proper pension. We urge Bristol politicians, all Bristolians with what might be called power, to join us. We are united in making our employers, government ministers, university elite management teams, transport bosses change their minds. Our strike is not simply a protest, it is a means to an end. That end, a change in our employers' position now. Finally, in the case of my union, and I'm sure the other unions too, this is the first of many days of strike action. The first of 18 days of strike action in the case of the University and Colleges Union. The road ahead is a tough one, but united, acting in concert, we can and we must win this one dispute we share together. I'm sure with support and actions of all of us here today, we will. Thank you very much.
And eating are basic needs, and one that everyone in a country as rich as England should be provided with. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're just handed it. 2 years ago, education workers knew this. We used Section 44 of the law to refuse to go into unsafe workplaces to ensure us, our colleagues, our children and communities were kept safe and well in the midst of the pandemic. This is workers' power, and we need to take this similar action again. The inequalities of our society are often made very clear to us, and we need to fight in the communities where we live and work to make it very clear. Keeping pay low is a political choice. Allowing businesses to rein in obscene profits is a political choice. Now let's make this very clear, and I think we have today, that this is not our choice. That we reject this choice by uniting workplace campaigns with those struggling with day-to-day existence. We need to take these campaigns to our workmates and our workplaces. All workers should be in the union. So if you're not in one, or you know someone who's not in one, then make that decision to fight today and join one. If you are in one, then make that decision today to step up, to join the next action your union's taking, and to campaign harder and louder by becoming a rep in your workplace. And if you are ready, fight very hard and very loud, then join us, Bristol Trades Councils, and the union movement across Bristol to link these campaigns together to ensure we can all win. We need to say, if this society cannot afford to pay house and feed us, then we cannot afford the way this society is run. Let's work together so everyone has enough to survive and to enjoy life. So well done for joining us here today, as this allows us to move onwards and upwards to win what we need and what we deserve. See you on your picket line.